We have a quorum. I'm going to call the City of Groton Mayor and Council meeting for Monday, November 19th. Order. Clerk Patrick, will you please call the roll?
Present are Mayor Keith Hedrick, Councilors Jill Rusk, Deputy Mayor Lawrence Garish, Councilor Stephen Sheffield, Rashad Carter, Clerk Deborah Patrick. Excused are Councilor Jamal Beckford, Councilor Guinevere Depot, and Finance Director Ron Haas.
Okay. Please stand and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So tonight, under recognitions, awards, and memorials, I have a proclamation. But before I have the proclamation, I want to give you guys some information that I'm sure you already know. The gentleman that we're going to honor tonight has coached over 26 years, T-ball, minors, majors, 22,464 outs, 3,744 innings, but who's counting? Has coached over 500 players, coached before having children, and has even umpired for a couple of years.
No wins and losses?
I don't have the wins and losses. So I'm not a good stats guy, but I go with what I was given. So with that, Bill Borshwitz, if you could come front and center. This is from the Office of the Mayor, City of Groton, Connecticut, Proclamation, William Borshwitz Appreciation Day. Whereas William Borshwitz has generously given of himself to Groton Little League since 1988, before he had his own children in the league, by serving in many different roles within the organization. And whereas William has promoted Groton Little League and the benefits of hard work, teamwork, dedication, and sportsmanship at all age levels for the youth in our community. And whereas his untiring volunteer work with the Groton Little League has helped to preserve and promote the Little League slogan, character, courage, loyalty, through coaching, umpiring, and board membership. And whereas he has demonstrated the importance of participation as a volunteer in youth sports by serving as a leader and by tirelessly mentoring and supporting the more than 500 players to which he coached. And whereas William Borshwitz has served as an example of what one person can do to bring about positive change in the community. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Keith Hedrick, Mayor of the City of Groton, proclaim November 19, 2018 as William Borshwitz Appreciation Day, given under my hand this 19th day of November 2018. Signed by me, Keith Hedrick, Mayor of the City of Groton. Sorry. Yeah, the note for me to sign.
Speech or run a lap? Let's go.
So does anybody want to take, if you want to take pictures, Bill, you can, if you want to take pictures, we can set this up however you want to do this.
I'll take a picture with the mayor.
And you can do that, or we could give it to you however you want to do it. Let me tell you something, you look model thin standing next to Do we need to turn? All right. Whoops.
Great.
Want to go here? Anyone else? Oh, here we go. Anyone else? Going once? Going twice? All right.
Thank you very much.
Also, Bill is on the Beaches and Parks Committee.
Yep.
Here in the city. And that's all I have. If you want to You can stay for the rest of the meeting, or you can recess. So I'll recess for 5 minutes to allow the room to clear, and then we'll recommence with the people.
Thank you.
Okay, Clerk Patrick, let me know when you're
We are
ready.
ready.
Okay, continuing on with the agenda is receipt of citizens petitions.
Do we want to have any more recognitions?
Any more recognitions,
yes.
awards? Okay.
Recognitions.
Hold on. Councilor Rusk.
I wanted to congratulate the Groton Mystic Falcon cheerleaders on November 11th at Mohegan Sun. The minis and juniors placed first. The micros and seniors placed second, so congratulations. That's great.
That
Great
was
job. Job well
tremendous.
done.
Anything else on,
On the football side, Groton Mystic, the past Sunday, we had two teams in. We had the 8 and under. They played against New London. They unfortunately lost, but it was good that they made it. New London had a strong team, and then the 10 under team won. They won against Killingly, and that was good. So we had two out of our 4 teams went to the Super Bowl. And
Wow.
again, those kids represent the Groton,
Sure.
the town, city, and Mystic. So.
absolutely. That's tremendous. Anything else on recognition? Councilor
Yeah, and
Sheffield?
I think I want to recognize the memorial that was set up by Fitch High School in reference to William Hart, Marine that was killed in Beirut bombing back in, I believe, 1983. And Wendell Gaston, I guess, was one of the presenters of that plaque from Fitch High School, and a well-deserved honor for him. He was one of 4 of us that were recruited, that class of '81. Brian Wilson, Wendell Gaston's brother Marvin, and myself, along with William, were recruited. It was William that went in of the 4 of us and gave the ultimate sacrifice. And we, I remember going to his funeral when they brought him home, and that was a difficult time, looking at how we were together, being recruited, and then him going in. And it's well deserved that finally he's been recognized after 35 years. So,
Hold on, we're not getting any sound.
Let's go. Got a good workout yesterday.
I try to work out. Yeah, I was down there today.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to get a tough look at you, though, no matter what I do.
Oh, come on. 20 years ago? 3 years ago?
May I have that board? That board
Which-
right there, underneath your, no, underneath.
That one.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So we wouldn't, shall we start over?
No, it was the whole, before that didn't do.
Should we-
There it goes, okay.
She still took the men's regardless, though.
If you want to talk about your recognitions again, that
Oh.
would be fine.
Well, do you want, do we need to start with Jill again? And because did anything get,
No.
nothing? Oh, well, I guess Jill, you go ahead and.
Okay.
Okay, Councilor Rusk.
Take a step back. All right. I would like to congratulate the Groton Mystic Falcon cheerleaders on November 11th. They were at Mohegan Sun and placed the minis. I'm sorry, let me get this right. The minis and the juniors placed first. The micros and the seniors took second place. So congratulations to our Mystic Falcon cheerleaders, Groton Mystic Falcon cheerleaders.
Very good.
And again,
Councilor Carter.
again on the football side, we had 2 teams in, 2 out of 4 teams in the division. 8 and under played against New London. They lost, but it was good that they made it in. And 10 and under won against Kennelly. So we had 1 champion out of 4. So it's good.
Perfect.
That was yesterday, by the way, Sunday.
Councilor Sheffield.
And again, I'd like to recognize again William Hart, the memorial that was plaque that was given by Fitch High School. And William Hart was class of '81, that's myself, and he, like I said, sadly was killed in the Beirut bombing in 1983. And like I said, he was one of the 4 of us that was recruited in high school to join the Marines, along with Marvin Gaston, Brian Wilson, and myself. And, he gave the ultimate sacrifice, and, we're proud of him still. And I want to also recognize other veterans, Kent Lagasse, who recently passed away from his injuries from Afghanistan. And
Go ahead, keep going.
all right. Also like to recognize our veterans still serving, Hannah Garvey, who has just been promoted to Staff Sergeant. Spoke with her mother the other day, so she's doing well in her service duties with the United States Army. And I also wanted to recognize one more person from my class, Jerry Carpenter, who also was in the U.S. Army. I'm not sure if he's still in the area, but just thinking of all the people who served in the military that I've been in touch with over the years. So, and we thank you again for their service on this Veterans Week. So. And that's all for the.
Anyone else on recognition awards and memorials?
I just wanted to comment on our first snowstorm of the year, which, according to all the reports, weather reports I heard, was supposed to be very light. Actually turned out to be quite a bit more than had been predicted, and I thought our public highway and highway and police responded exceptionally well, not expecting that type of snowfall.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Hearing none, we'll go to receipt of citizens' petitions, comments. Receipt of citizens' petitions is the portion of the council meeting where the council welcomes comments from citizens. To address the council, when you are recognized, please approach the podium. Clearly state your name and address and speak into the microphone. Each presentation should be limited to 5 minutes or less, and citizens should, if possible, submit written comments. Presentations should be related to matters pertinent to the City of Groton. City councilors will only ask questions in order to clarify the speaker's presentation and can respond during the responses to the citizens' petition portion of the meeting. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Mr. Boucher?
Mike Boucher, 16 Hillside Avenue, Groton. Wanted to talk about the sewer budget first. The sewer budget is busted. Last month's revenue was 13% below budget needs, and year-to-date is 26% below budget. As GU stated back in August, we are going to have significant sewer revenue shortfall, and we'll need to make the changes sooner than later. Looks like the time is up, and much more than what the city called a tweak is needed. It appears the sewer budget will need to be rewritten to match the revenue coming in. Unfortunately, that means about $1 million of the original budget will have to be cut. Most, if not all of it, will come from the area of capital improvements. Of course, that will still need funding, but raising rates would be more than the poor renters and families could stomach in an election year. And I'm happy to think that GU is not going to raise rates, because I wouldn't support that. That only leaves bonding, and oddly enough, that means a second tax on sewer, as bond funds come from property tax. As sad as that may sound, I do support that. I'd rather have bonding than raising rates. The honest play by the city government should be open communication about the sewer budget and where it is going. Hopefully, city government will direct the unused hundreds of thousands in bond money the city now holds and place it toward the sewer capital improvement needs, and not waste money foolishly on projects only to add a second tax later after elections. I'd like to also speak about CMAQ. As the noose tightens around CMAQ, Mayor Hendrick should abandon his circle of wagons approach to the very serious problem that could result in the loss of tens of millions of dollars to the city of Groton. It has been in the paper almost every day and is now national news. The FBI investigation will only continue and there is no end in sight anytime soon. Ron Gaudette should step down from the vice chair position at CMEC, and the City of Groton must support oversight measures at CMEC to avoid what looks like could be the end of CMEC. Groton Utilities' split vote on reappointing Derby participants to the CMEC board officer positions seemed to show confusion as to what to do. The City of Groton needed to show verbal support of Paul Yackel's concerns about reappointing Derby participants in officer positions. And Mayor Hendricks should have then removed Ron's name from consideration for a CMEC officer. An added concern I have about this situation is the optics of a new hire related to our GU director. I think that's also going to be a problem. And thank you very much. That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Response to citizens' petitions? Anyone? No. Okay. I have a statement. Since this is the first time that many of you have heard this publicly, 2 weeks ago, there was an indictment of 5 people associated with CMEC. 2 were CMEC employees, and 3 were had positions on the board of directors. So the receipt of citizens' petition, since they first became aware of CMEC's expenditure of its funds for out-of-state travel and activities, the City of Groton and Groton Utilities have taken appropriate actions to address and enforce the municipal ethics issues raised and to ensure that such practices cannot occur in the future. We have also fully cooperated with all other governmental agencies charged with investigating CMEC, its personnel, and their conduct. As the majority municipal owner of CMEC with the benefits of new representation, we remain vigilant in supervising both its ongoing business activities and its compliance with all applicable business standards. Currently, the City of Groton nor the Groton Utility is indicted, and you know that. You also know that Director Gaudet is not indicted, and you know that a ethics complaint was filed last year, and you know that this council adjudicated the findings of the Board of Ethics, and that Director Gaudet, Director Collard, and Ed DeMozio, who was a Utility Commission member, were held accountable, and that Gaudet and Collard were directed to pay $7,800, and they did. They contributed $7,800 to a charity. They paid a $100 fine, and I forget what the third thing was, but that was accomplished. One of the challenges with the election of the officers is whether or not, just because the officers went to the Kentucky Derby doesn't mean that they can't continue to be officers. One of the challenges that is going to be addressed in a future presentation, not here, is whether or not the pool of the board of directors have enough people that have enough experience in order to be elected as the officers of the Board of Ethics, the CMEC Board of Directors. So, Ken Barber, who is the treasurer, did not go to the Kentucky Derby, and he was one of the ones that was on the list as well. And that's all I have to say about CMEC and that issue. Approval of minutes, I will need a motion, correction, yes, I will need a motion to suspend the rules to amend the agenda to add the approval of the minutes for October 23rd, 2018 Joint Council Committee of the Whole and November 5th, 2018 Mayor and Council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries unanimously. Now, I need a motion to accept the minutes of October 23rd, 2018 joint committee of the whole meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention. I need a motion for the November 5th mayor and council meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Communications and reports. We'll go with our normal communications and reports before we get to the group committee updates. Councilor Rusk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On November 7th, I attended the Town and City Council RTM Board of Ed Liaison Committee meeting. The big thing that came out of that, and I'm going to try to go over this as concisely as possible, there is a letter to, or an editorial in the day that explains it very well. In 2016, Groton approved a school construction referendum that included a new middle school and renovations of 2 middle schools into elementary schools. Since that vote, and that vote was for $184.5 million, that was approved in 2016. Since that vote, the state has changed the rules on how they are approving money. So the state requested a cost analysis study to be done, and the state determined that it is less expensive to renovate or to build new than to renovate. The problem is the wording in the 2016 referendum says renovate versus build for the elementary schools. So on December 4th, there's a public hearing at the town annex. My understanding is it's at 6:30, but I'm not 100% sure about the time. At which time there will be a lot more information about this. And then on December 11th, there will be a vote on whether or not we are building new or whether or not we're renovating. According to the builders, they are saying you will get a lot more bang for your buck to build new than to renovate, because there's so much that needs to be renovated in the middle schools, and then there's the time frame of not being able to use those schools while all this renovation is going on. So nothing will change in the amount of money. It will still be $184.5 million. That has already been approved. The question is, do we build new, which is a yes vote on December 11th, or do we keep it the same and we renovate, which was the original referendum, and vote no? So I highly recommend that voters in the town, in the city and the town, study up on this, get a lot more information, go to the December 4th public hearing and find out a lot more information about this. And once again, the vote will be December 11th, and I highly encourage everybody to come out and vote on that. I also attended the Beautification Committee meeting, which was earlier tonight. The Town Beautification Committee meeting, I was also joined by Sierra Patrick, who is the city's economic development specialist, who has been going to these a lot more. There is a Facebook page, there's a Twitter account, there's an Instagram account. You can find out a lot more information on the Beautification Committee, but really what the town is trying to do is to work to make Groton more appealing, which thus helps with economic development and a lot of other ways. It is not costing the taxpayers a dime. They will raise every dollar that they plan to spend for things like signature plants and planters and signage and things like that to make Groton more appealing. So if you want more information on that, meetings are on Mondays at 5:30 at the Groton Public Library. They are the first and third Mondays of the month. And like I said, look up the Facebook page, the Twitter account, the Instagram, and get more information on the Groton Beautification Committee. And those are my reports.
Thank you. Excuse me, Councilor Sheffield.
Only one, I just, like I said, attended the Joel Depot benefit at the Elks on the 11th, and and the Reverend Coleman's breakfast at St. John's.
Thank you. Councilor Carter?
Nothing to report.
Deputy Mayor Garish?
Yes, I also attended the fundraiser for Mr. Depot. I also attended on the 9th the Armed Forces Recognition Night at Groton Elks. And I also attended the first responder invitation at St. John's Church on the 17th, which was hosted by Reverend Coleman and was very, very well appreciated and received. And that's all.
Thank you. A couple of things. The pollution abatement facility, the number 1 digester, is 100% complete. The mixture was added in the last couple days, so that is complete. Finance Director Uhas met with the insurance company Karma, and they are basically closing out the books, and pretty soon this will be 100% wrapped up, and number 1 and number 2 digesters are fully in operation. They're operational. Number 1's in operation, number 2 is in standby, and the insurance issue should be complete here by the end of November. And once that's 100% complete, I'll let you know. Second thing is, I want to have a workshop in December on a Saturday. I know that's inconvenient, but there are 2 things that I want to address. One is the space study that was recently completed, and the second thing is we have the bond from the Colonel Ledgerd that there are projects here in the municipal building and around that I want to talk to you about and let you guys prioritize the projects based on cost and the purpose of the projects. So the 8th or the 15th of the 2 dates I was looking at.
What time are you thinking?
Well, I'll send out an email with this 8th and 15th since 2 of you are not here. But also, we can do a morning or an afternoon, whichever's easier. It's probably going to take us around 4 hours max. But
The 8th is the open house and bonfire at Fort Griswold at 11 o'clock.
okay,
Just, that's going on.
understand? If the 8th or 15th are not good, I'm open to any other day, but I would like to get this done in December if we can.
Okay.
I know I'm on vacation from Stop and Shop, I guess 9th through the 15th and 16th through the 22nd, so 15th or the 22nd are good.
Okay, then I'll put out an email tomorrow with the 3 days, 8, 15, 22.
Can't do 22.
Okay, 8:15. And then I'll give you a morning or an afternoon time slot. And I will keep it as brief as we possibly can.
I'm bringing coffee.
Sure, absolutely, I'll bring coffee. And then the last thing I have is, and I'll send this out with an email as well, but the RSVP for the December 10th, and whether or not that's from 5 to 7, and whether or not you're bringing a guest, so that we can properly prepare. All right. Committee updates. It's been a while since we've went through these. I just want to go through and just see where we are on the committee updates. Let's see. So Councilor Depot is Public Works. Well, actually, is there anybody here from the Public Works Committee? Somebody's got to be.
Well, he's in Group 1.
Okay, Group 1.
Deputy Mayor Garish is part of Group 1.
Could you speak to the twice a week trash pickup? Or would you
Not
rather-
really.
Okay.
I discussed a little bit of it with the committee, but not really enough to speak on.
Okay, understand. The notes, the minutes that I have was, it was agreed it'd be ideal to have twice weekly pickup during the summer. And Mr. Herberts and Uhas will work out the budget numbers for the committee by March 2019. So I will see where we stand on that. Okay, economic development, let's see who that is.
Jamal. Councilor Beckford.
Okay. And we have on that. All right, recommendation of the Economic Development Commission, item number 4, which is recommendations of the Economic Development Commission. Okay, I don't know where those stand. Item 7 is coastal management, coastal resiliency. There was a discussion on fees being assessed for new construction and low-lying land and the resources the committee may consult. So this is still open. Okay, public safety. I think that's you, right?
Yes.
All right, so what do we have open?
The only thing, and really we have nothing open. There are two items, signs at crosswalks and safe exchange site for online purchases. Both of those items have been discussed with Public Safety Chief Spellman, and I do plan to speak with him about them again, just to find out the progress that we've made. The signs, crosswalk signs, especially on Mitchell Street, with increased traffic, we felt needed some increased signage such as lighting and so forth, but I do plan to speak with Chief Spellman to see where we're at with that.
Okay. And the safe exchange site for online purchases, I know that the town has one we had talked about, it was referred to look and see if we want to do something similar to that here in the city.
Right, and we talked about that, and in fact, not specifically online purchases, but any kind of safety meetings has been an ongoing thing with the police department for quite a while. We do need to put some more publicity out concerning the online purchases exchange. And again, I'll find out where the police department is with that currently, but I know that it's a work in progress.
Okay. Community development.
That's me.
Okay, go ahead.
So, community, we have open community building events and beautification, as well as city entryway signage, both of which I've spoken with Sierra Patrick about, that the EDC is looking at that also. So I plan on coordinating with the EDC on both of those two things. Citizen recognition program, we've thrown around different ideas about beautiful gardens and holiday lighting, which I think we also can work with the Town Beautification Committee on how to incorporate some of their ideas also into the city. And when I did speak with them, it wasn't just the town and then the city separate. It was definitely town-wide. And then review of Airbnb short-term rentals. Dennis Gaudier sent me an email regarding that, and I just have not had the opportunity to connect with him. The day that we were going to connect didn't work out, so I will definitely speak with him soon.
Okay, the review of ordinances, are you done? Or?
We did that, I want to say 2 years ago, the review of ordinances.
I think that everyone pretty much went through each of the the group committees went through theirs.
All right. Next time you meet, take a motion to delete this from the
Okay.
agenda, and then we'll take it off.
That doesn't stay on there?
Huh?
Well, it'll stay on there, but if it's bolded, that means that it's been deleted. It just stays there for historical purposes.
Okay.
It just won't be added to agendas anymore.
Thank you.
You know, one of the things we're going to be looking at in 2019 is, one of our directives was to look at all the ordinances, and you could have one or two things: either delete it, well, actually a couple things. Delete it, there's no changes to it, which probably none of them had that. The changes were only in numbers only for the fines, or there were major changes. So in 2019, we're going to be taking action because it requires publication into the newspaper. And we're going to look at how we can, for the example of the deletions, delete a bunch of them at the same time, instead of having to publish it for each one at $300 a shot. Okay, let's see, where are we? Finance?
I have open, I guess, the Mother Bailey, which is still open until we figure out what we're going to do, unless you have anything to let me know about, or let what the resolution of the Mother Bailey. So that's one thing that's still, unless you...
Okay, I can tell you what about the Mother Bailey, what I know. I'm still working with Susan Archer and the Friends of the Anna Warner Bailey chapter of the DAR to try to determine if they have the financial wherewithal in order to take the Mother Bailey house. If they do not, I have already convened my real estate committee and have a recommendation from them, but I'm not ready to release that until I have my discussion with Susan Archer, because there's really only a couple of things you can do. We can turn it over to somebody that has the financial wherewithal to keep it up. You could sell it outright. You could sell it with deed restrictions, or lastly, you could demolish it, meaning you could bring in an organization to salvage the architectural parts of it and then demolish the house. So those are the things that are on the table.
Can I comment on that?
Councilor Russ.
My understanding was that when we discussed this originally, that would have been objected to via court order from the state. Is that not still the case? The demolishing. There was research done regarding grants that we received, and there's no such restriction. Okay.
I mean, the issue, like I said, we own the property. I guess we have the right,
They couldn't tell you unless they were giving us money to keep it.
Well, the question was, that we asked was, with the acceptance of the grants, did that obligate the city to keep it intact ad infinitum? Meaning, even if it was a detriment to the city, would we still have to keep it? And when Dennis checked with the agencies, the answer was no. Now, that is still last on the list. And I'm sure that there will be public outcry if that is a decision. Once I have my conversation with Susan Archer, and then once I have another meeting with the real estate committee, that will then come to the council, and then we will have at least one public session, information session, or public hearing, so that people can come out and let their voices be heard. Okay, go ahead. Proposed changes to retirement plan?
I guess that stays open, I guess, that's why I was the finance director, Ron Uhas would be, but I think I've discussed that with him. It looks like that's something that we keep it.
We'll keep that on. We will.
Just in case.
we will be coming to you with a change to the non-union management handbook at the first of the year, with something that will address a retirement plan change. And I'm not ready to reveal what that is yet.
Understood.
Review of city bidding process.
That's another, same thing with Ron Uhas. He's still, we haven't had a stipulated, plan, but I guess as whatever comes up, I guess. for
All right,
bids.
let me talk to him, because we have financial policies, and we revise the ordinance to basically reference the financial policies. And the city bidding process is one of the ones that's discussed. And there's the allowance for if you have local bidders, if they were, and it depends on the size of the contract, how close you have to be within. But if, for example, on some of the lower bids, if you're within 10%, then we will give the local bidder the opportunity to match the bid price. And if they can, then it can go to them.
Yeah, but we haven't got anything concrete from Ron in regards to how he was gonna formalize that kind of contract. I
Okay,
guess,
I'll talk to him. I think we
so-
have policies already.
Okay.
And then the review of ordinances, are you guys done with have you reviewed all the ordinances?
I can't recall if I reviewed all of mine.
This is finance, right?
Yeah.
Yes, all the ones in finance were reviewed, because that was my committee before
Okay, so, yeah, so we should be all set.
I became mayor. All right, so we'll need a motion from your next meeting to delete.
The review of ordinances, okay.
Yes, please.
Yep, very good.
Okay. Let's see, where are we? That leaves us with Parks and Rec. All right, what do we got here? All right, go ahead.
The user fees, Rick, the 16.
Yep.
That was, we spoke about that, we've been speaking about that, I don't know why he hasn't.
That's an ongoing.
Yeah.
That's an ongoing,
That-
it stays
that
on
will-
there.
Okay,
That will come out.
Because each year,
Okay.
changes could be
Okay.
All
made.
right.
yep, okay.
Review of ordinances?
Yep. And that's another one that I assume that's stayed on there, because they do that, we do that, prior to February, the review of ordinances. I didn't know if,
Was anybody here have Parks and Rec last term?
I did. Well, I did with Andy.
Do you remember if you reviewed the ordinances?
I believe they were all
I
reviewed.
think they were all,
I
I think
know
Andy had it.
everything that came back was forwarded on to your office through Heidi.
Okay, let's get a motion next meeting to delete that.
okay,
Okay, Youth Advisory Committee, I think I'm behind on that. I think I
yeah,
owe
that
you
was
an
sent to
answer.
you, yeah,
Okay? And then I am behind on that.
okay.
Fundraiser road race?
We have not scratched the surface on that yet. That's something that we have our eyes on for the springtime, I would assume. Spring into summer next year, so we haven't talked about that.
Use of Tyler and Zabierski House?
Yep, we've toured the Tyler and Sibirski house. I don't know what the findings were, or I think we have to come together as a council and speak about what our ideals, future ideas of that could be.
One of the things that I've talked to Director Hill about is on the utilization of the Zabierski House and the auditorium, although the auditorium falls under the clerk, is to have more utilization of that house.
Yeah.
In my mind, I break it up to morning, afternoon, evening, and I'd like to see it used, and get a utilization log of how often it's used, but also use it more. Something that I think we should do is to market it as a wedding location, wedding destination, That includes wedding showers, bridal, baby showers, those kind of things. One of the recommendations I had was to find out where the Branford House, they're registered in different bridal registries, and to get to the Z House on that registry. Also, go to the town of Groton, where the justices of the peace are, and then contact them and let them know that it's
Even like the
available.
small gatherings, yeah.
So part of the challenge we have as a municipality is we don't tend to think like a business. We say that, well, we have the house, people know it's there, they'll come, they're ready to come. And I think we are going to work on a marketing plan that part of the marketing is Parks and Rec is going to be marketing their programs. Instead of saying, hey, we got a book that tells what you're going to be doing for the next quarter, we're going to be advertising those. You'll be seeing more of that on Facebook, and then those will be shared. Same thing with the Z House and other things that we're going to be doing. How it impacts the entire city is that we have other Facebook pages that our departments have. The Facebook pages will be posting the good things that the either the fire department, the police department, and the utilities are doing, and we'll get those posted so that people know what we're doing out there. And then the language in the ordinance for the rules and reg, that was the one about the dogs, right?
Yep. That's continued. We've
Okay,
met
that's
with
good.
that in the committee, and we met with the
Committee.
the committee. Go ahead.
Yeah, my thinking, we have to reconcile the beach and parks rules with our current ordinance. I thought that needed to be done first and then decide whether we want dogs at the beach.
Well, it's ongoing, so basically
Yeah.
that's the answer.
I just wanted to
Okay.
I just want to make sure we get consistency with the ordinance and the beach and park rule.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Next item is committee referrals. Anyone? Any new business or any new business? Okay, there is no executive session. We'll take a motion for adjournment.
Can I say one quick thing before we
Sure.
adjourn that I forgot to mention earlier? This was on the Facebook page, but just a reminder to everybody that if your garbage or recycling pickup is Wednesday of this week, or on Thursday of this week, I'm sorry, it will be on Wednesday. If it's on Friday of this week, it will be Monday of next week. So again, if your pickup is normally on Thursday, it'll be Wednesday. If it's normally Friday, it will be
Yeah.
Monday.
That's good to know, because people ask me too. They assume that they're not going to have it picked up, and they don't just keep it out or put it out.
Right.
And they get upset for a week.
Right.
So,
So with
Well,
that,
and we
Or they
try
can call
to
the
post,
public works.
or they can call them.
right, we try to post those things on Facebook and get that information out there.
with that, I will,
Hey,
sorry?
I guess we can talk another time, because I meant to say this before, and you reminded me with the snow. Because we have holidays and weekends, but there's also snow days where we don't pick up trash. Is that the day out? Do they pick up the day after that? Like, how does that?
Okay.
Sorry, just while we're on
Totally
it.
derailed from any sort of agenda.
Well, we're loosely following the agenda. We'll put it under new business meeting. When it snows, depending on how bad the snow is, the snow that day, if we are plowing the streets, we're not picking up that day. If we can, we'll try to pick up the next day, but we already have a day scheduled, so we may not be able to pick it up that day. So if it doesn't get picked up the next day, bring it in, we'll get it next week.
Yeah.
I mean, would they do the best that they can, given the material conditions and the situation that we're in? Last year, we had a couple bad snows that actually took 2 days to clean up. Right, so we would be working all day and through the night, and then the next day, they're working on corners and edges, meaning they're trying to to round the corners, or square the corners rather, and clean up the edges. And I know it's inconvenient, but we're working on what we can do to prevent that in the future. There are some things that we're looking at, but they're not implemented yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so where were we?
I move we adjourn.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.